Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of one of our newest books. This one is called Healthy for Life: Foundational Skills for Parents, Teachers, Mentors, and the Kids They Love. Before I introduce these amazing authors to you today, I need to give a huge shout out to Dr. Ilana Zablosky-Amir. Ilana, thank you so much for your big vision for this book, for bringing this stellar expert author cast together to bring people, honestly, you guys, just the ultimate toolkit for healthy living forever. Like, if you want it, we got it. Okay. I'm so excited about this project and very grateful to Ilana for that vision and mission. So let me introduce you to a few of our authors. Levine Cohen is a mindbodygreen functional nutrition expert, passionate gluten-free advocate, and foodie who eliminates overwhelm when you're giving up gluten for good so you can truly enjoy every bite. Michael McDonald is with us. He's a music producer, technologist, and founder of IFit, a wellness platform that merges ancient wisdom with modern technology. And Stephen Cohen, who I probably should have introduced right after Amy, since they're sitting together today, is a passionate investigator and advocate for your optimal health. He has a doctorate in Eastern medicine and practices in integrative settings. All right, Amy, you are going to start the party off today. Can you take a minute to introduce your chapter and give us a little bit of the why behind it?
I would love to. Thank you, Laura. So my chapter is chapter 7. It's called Gluten-free: Overcoming Food Overwhelm Without FOMO, Fear of Missing Out. And my why was really, or is, that Stephen and I are both gluten-free. Our son is gluten-free. And before our son was born, when we knew we had to change our eating habits and our lifestyle, we really went cold turkey, and we were able to do it and really do it seamlessly. There was a lot of learning through the process. And once we've learned, or now that we've learned, and being able to empower our son to be able to do the same for his life, we are, easily able to navigate the world together. So what I help people do who are either giving up gluten, we're also dairy free. So it could be dairy, it could be soy, it could be a lot of things. This format will work for any food intolerance or sensitivity or allergy for that matter. So what I do is I'm going to help you set a strong foundation. I'm going to help decode labels, having you know that substitutions are really encouraged, teach you how to eat out of the house, and most importantly, show that teamwork is really a source of support for the family to be able to do this together when possible.
I got to rewind you to the cold turkey thing for a second. Like, tell me about how that went down.
Well, I remember this is more than 15 years ago. So I remember Stephen needing to be gluten-free first. And we were trying to navigate that. I was making 2 meals at the time, one for him that was gluten-free and one for me that was gluten-full.
I appreciate it. I cook also, though.
Yes, you do cook. You cook very well. And I actually learned to cook better from you. Oh. So there you go. I learned how to just throw things in and not necessarily read a recipe from you. And so it's really about figuring out sort of how this works. And when we did decide to do it, we just said, this is what we're doing. I realized I needed to medically as well. And once especially when we both decided to do it together, we literally just moved forward, and we've never looked back, because especially with gluten, it's all or nothing. If you cheat on one little thing, your body can have the same exact reaction. So it's truly 100%.
Well, in the positive realm of that, was it fairly instant feeling better?
Yes, we knew we felt better right away. I think it took 2 to 3 weeks, like when you're trying to, because sometimes you'll start picking up a food and you'll take a bite and then you'll realize, oh, wait, so I basically, in my chapter 2, have been able to teach you how to get straight to the point in very simple steps using what I learned to, as I navigated that process to make it very simple for all of you.
Oh my gosh, it's going to help
Whatever your
so many people.
intolerance, allergy,
Yes.
or sensitivity may be.
It's going to help so many people. And really, we talked about it in another interview, kind of cut through the overwhelm and get there easier. And I love what you're talking about in terms of like the family team at home. I know that if, my kids are adults now, but when they come home, like on a 6-week break from college and they're eating like crap and I'm trying to make this and they're making it just doesn't work. But when they come home and they're like, my team member in that healthy eating, it changes, right? It changes everything. So I love that. Amy, thank you for saying yes to this project and for being here today.
Thank you. I'm so glad that I did.
Okay, we're going to pop over to Michael for a minute. Take a minute to introduce your chapter and give us the why behind it.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for having me on. And Stephen and Amy, you're so lovely. It's great to be here with you all. And I'm so much looking forward to reading that chapter on gluten. I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm ready for that. Chapter 15, you become what you sing about all day long, which is kind of a bent off of Dr. Wayne Dyer's, you become what you think about all day long. And we think about it, we're frequency beings in a frequency universe, right? And we go through life writing our business plans. We have our, our workout plans. We have our plans for this or that. But very few of us actually write out our statement of who we are and what we want to represent ourselves in this life. And so through this chapter, I really talk about the vibration and the science behind our language. We call it spelling, right? We're spell casting with our words. That's the very first fundamental thing out of all of the creation that we do. If we want to build a building, guess what? We speak about it first. Everything in life we speak about first. We think about it, then we speak about it. So what I'm thinking here and why I was drawn to Healthy for Life is I've got 2 boys. And what we really instill in them is you become what you sing about all day long, right? So fundamental, we're frequency beings in a frequency universe. We align through our thought, we align our frequencies through our thought. We take that into action, into the ether through our voice, and that's where it becomes manifest. So if we don't have a personal statement of why I'm here, like something that you would want on your gravestone, right? Something that, yes, this is what I stood for. This is who I am. I took off all the masks. I live in authenticity. I'm brave. I'm free. I'm courageous, right? Unless we have that statement of who we are or who we want to strive to be, then we're like a ship without a sail, right? So we're just going through life, writing our business plans, but never writing that plan for ourselves of who am I going to show up in this business, right? First and foremost, speaking to my children, if you want to be healthy for life, who do you want to be in life? Like, what's your energetic vibration, your footprint? What do you stand for? What are your values? What's your North Star? So through this chapter, I teach you how to get into that small but powerful voice within and really hear it and tap into what is your superpower? Why are you here? What do you want to do in life? Do you want to make a difference? Do you want to be a powerful being of creation, right? And then through this process, you really get in touch with who you are and what your driving motivation factors are. And you're able to put that into a cohesive sentence that then you can memorize. And then guess what? I teach you how to vocalize it and why to vocalize it, why the power of the voice and the vibration is so important in the creation process. So for me, Healthy for Life starts with the fundamental question of who am I? Why am I here? What's my North Star? And what do I want to become and step into? So the chapter drives you through that, and it concludes with giving you not only the tools to do this on your own, but then an extra technology tool that I've developed, IAFIT, to where you can actually go to the platform. This particular feature isn't live yet, but soon, to where you'll be able to put your personal statement into Aya. and push a button. It'll format it into a full-fledged song with using neurolinguistic AI. So it's the highest vibrational language that you can muster. And then it's transfused into the song in style, tempo, instrumentation of your choice. So now you've got your anthem coming to life, right? And you can do it 16, 17, 100 times until it's right. And so now you've got your personal anthem that you can take on the road with you. It's on your phone. It can remind you. You can sing along with it. But at the end of the day, none of that technology matters. What matters is that you just do the work. You sit down, you find your internal voice, you stand in who you are, and you keep that as your internal mantra day in and day out. And trust me, your life is going to unfold in a beautiful, healthy manner.
Oh my gosh, there's such passionate purpose in what you're talking about, Michael. Thank you. Thank you for saying yes to this and being a part of this amazing project.
Thank you.
There's like 3 hours worth of things I want to say about Michael and his chapter, but I'll just tell you guys this little story about my partner, my guy who walks around my house. And I'll often tell my friends that he lives in song constantly. So if he is speaking out loud, he's singing a song. And so Michael is making me think a lot about my sexy guy and how he lives in his brain and his vibes and all the things, which is really fabulous. So Stephen, tell us a bit about your chapter and your why.
Thank you so much for having me here. And Michael, much to the chagrin of my family, I'll loop one song in the car for 45 minutes because I just get into it and stay in it, and I love it. So I can't wait to read the rest of your chapter and participate on your platform. And Laura, thank you for all of this. And from an Eastern medicine perspective, somebody who sings their way through things, it's they're the spleen and the earth category. So there's more to investigate about that. But my chapter is chapter 6 in this wonderful book, and the title is "Decoding Your Symptoms Based on Your Cross Reactivity." And in my practice, it became lots of people with chronic disease. And Yehuda Schoenfeld, Dr. Schoenfeld, had once said that all chronic disease, unless proven otherwise, is autoimmune disease. In my practice, in our family, and I go into it in my chapter, what inspired my own investigation into cross-reactivity, we started to understand the documentation in the literature that the immune system will react, one type of antibody or cell can react to multiple substances, whether it's human tissue or viruses, bacteria, chemicals, but yet the reports will just list the one that the investigator was looking for. And what gets lost sometimes is that you may think that, let's say it's gluten or dairy or strep or whatever, but it should really say, strep and, let's say, the brain tissue or what other symptoms or tissues it's reactive to. And when you can decode that puzzle, people who are working really hard with their mantras, with their foods, with their authorship, but they're struggling, they can't figure it out. What can happen is they can look at the maps that are already laid out and say, oh, wow, look at that. I am eating that, or I was infected with that. And that is the through line through the rest of the symptoms that can't resolve or haven't yet resolved. And that's the spirit of the chapters, to help you with a game plan to go talk to your clinician, your healthcare provider, and work it out and find out what's triggering the rest of your problems.
When I read your chapter, I resonated deeply and actually immediately felt like a hope, because these are puzzles. And if you don't have a practitioner who's willing to go that little extra step in the puzzle, and we're going to talk about kind of holistic approach and what that even means as well, you're likely to miss a piece and then feel hopeless about it. Like, oh, I'm just going to be resigned to the fact that this is going to be the way it is for the rest of my life. What else do you want to tell people about that?
It's not something that's in the alternative community only. Just because maybe they're very caring and stressed primary care provider isn't familiar. This is like right out of the main bodies of literature, and they need to advocate with their care provider to dig in. It's totally possible. It's self-explanatory once you understand it, and they will feel better, and they'll get underneath what's been nagging them, unfortunately, sometimes for long periods of time. Infectious diseases that are resolved, but they're still symptomatic. How does that happen? How many people just are walking around, oh, I was infected with this thing, or I had this thing, or my gluten, but I didn't know. And the puzzle, as you said, it's like a Sudoku. Once you can't just look at the one line. It's the intersection, and then it's like, oh, that is my thing that when I did eat that, or when I did get sick, oh, look at that. And it just becomes self-apparent.
You guys are going to laugh at me, but perfect timing. I've been binging The Resident on Netflix, and these doctors go through these puzzles, and I love listening to their brains that are being out loud about like how they're solving these puzzles. You strike me as one of those people, Stephen, who can solve the puzzle. Thank you so much for saying yes to this and for being here today. So, all right. Stephen kind of started it, so this is so perfect, but I'm going to start with Michael on this question. This, as you all know, and can probably hear a little bit already, this world of wellness can be totally overwhelming. And when you're searching for the answers to your problems, searching for solutions to sometimes very complex and chronic issues, you can quickly get overwhelmed and be on doctor number 5, 8, 10, because you're not getting somebody who can solve that puzzle. It's so frustrating, right? Michael, what do you want to share with our listeners? Maybe your best tip for understanding and vetting the info and practitioners out there. How can we choose the best for ourselves, but also our kids?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a world to where you've got, for example, using the diet book world, right? In the 90s, it was off the hook, but, still, right, there's one diet book that's clinically proven with doctors and, tests and, studies. Then you've got a contrary diet book with the same thing, complete opposites, and they both work, right? And then you're standing like, okay, which direction do I turn? So we're just inundated with, this, right? This crazy duality in healthcare and wellness, and so much noise. If you spend too much time on social media, you're going to go crazy searching for the magic bullet for wellness, right? So what I've concluded is that it's all correct, right? But you really need to get in touch with yourself. And that's where you slow down. Some people call it meditation, but meditation can take many forms. It can be a walk. It can be a dancing meditation. It could be sitting meditation. It could be, breath work, but just really getting in touch with yourself, your inner voice, your own intuition, and trusting that your body won't like purposely hurt itself, right? So if you have a craving for something, right, you need to honor that craving. There's a craving for a reason, right? And maybe step into the intention of balance, right? Like I'm a balanced being, and I can eat and partake in anything within a balanced frame of mind, and I'm going to transmute that joy of participating in that act of the Hershey bar or the Snickers or the popcorn or the bread or the sourdough, right? And I'm going to just give myself over to it, and I'm going to live in the joy of that, and I'm going to transmute. And my body is such a miraculous machine that it can take the negative and transmute it out of the body in its glorious way. So that's what I've been practicing for the last 6 years, healthier than ever to date. So it's working for me. Again, this is something I'm trying to instill in the boys as well, and 12 and 15. So it's if you're a parent, you understand it's kind of like in one ear out the other. But fortunately, some things hit and they surprise us, and we go, "Huh, okay, Daddy, yeah, I'm transmuting this right now, right?" Like, So yeah, they use it in smart ways, but at least it's in there. I truly believe that we do have this magic power of transmutation, and that we have the ability to fully lean in and appreciate and enjoy that, what we call guilty sins or guilty pleasures, and that joy actually overrides everything and increases your HRV, right? Which can, creates a positive mood, and now you're taking positive action, and you're showing up at the grocery counter with a smile on your face, and interactions just unfold in a seamless, beautiful manner. So that's kind of how I kind of navigate the world of everything is true. You got to really find out what is true for you.
That's a great way to kick that question off. You had me at sourdough. Oh, okay. I'm coming back to Stephen. What do you want to add about this? Like the overwhelm. How do we even start on this journey? Like, what's your best tip for that?
Well, I think first is kind of as Michael was alluding to, is trusting yourself, right? I think there's, for good reason, a large population of people that have outsourced their own health to somebody else, to a system, to a company, to a belief, to whatever. And I don't mean personal, like religious belief. I just mean a belief that they're going to take care of me. They have my best interest in mind, right? And if you know you're not well, like everybody kind of has a sense of, oh, I should not feel that, or why do I feel that way? Now, I can say personally, when I went gluten free, yes, I felt it pretty immediately. But what I noticed more was when there was gluten in my meal, and I was like, oh, that's exactly how I've been feeling. And it's kind of like, for me, when if you have a headache and you take some substance to resolve the headache, you don't often know when the headache goes away, but you're like, oh, right, I haven't felt my headache in a little bit of time, right? So anyway, so my point is, people have to trust that they know their body, they know when it's not right. I don't know that every ailment necessarily has a physical origin. Sometimes there can be from other mental origins or spiritual origins or whatever their personal system is, and I honor that. They have to trust themselves. They have to seek out people who are grounded and credible, as well as open and willing to listen to the complaints or the symptoms of the person. And so in my practice and in other people's, and I know Amy too, we try to meet the person where they're at. And when I'm asked this question, I simply say, look, some people come in with knee pain and they just want their knee helped. Some people come in knee pain and they're like, oh, I bumped my knee because I knew I littered and I should have picked it up, and that's my knee. And they're trying to resolve both. And then some people, they're even farther out. And I just try to meet them where they're at. And people should seek out other care providers who are balanced in the literature and in clinical experience and open to other systems, because that's where I think the magic happens.
Yes, I love that. I love listening to all of y'all's answers to all of the questions, because your unique way of answering that question, somebody's going to be hearing that way that you did it, right? It is the reason for these collaborative books as well. Your very unique stories. And then you guys step up with these honestly incredible master teachings. Y'all are hearing some of this today. And the golden nuggets of awareness are life changing. Amy, let's get to you for the answer to this one. What's that one tip you want to give people who are out there swimming in the overwhelm?
Realize that you can still have foods that you once loved. There are so many substitutes. I mean, part of it is that there's processed food out there and there's plant, like whole foods. And so sometimes it's not just jumping to the whole food meal, because that could be a lot of prep and that can be a lot of overwhelm when just like all the little basic things that are going into a certain meal. For some, that might be easy. For others, it might mean that for moms particularly, or whoever's doing the grocery shopping and preparing the food in the household, going to the store and grabbing the things that they need to eat. Sometimes processed food is what they need to give their family. But knowing how to figure out what's still going to satisfy what they want to eat, but finding the alternative for the food sensitivity that they have is really the way to go.
if I can add, because we want for nothing food wise, and that's because of you. And our son, a lot of people say, oh, he doesn't have cravings. And it's not that he doesn't have cravings. It's just that Amy has organized a world for him in which there's everything what he has a dupe or whatever
Yes, that's true. Everything has a
I don't know
dupe.
if I can say that on a podcast, but that's what you've provided for so many people, and so it makes this overwhelm kind of dissolve when they're like, oh, how many people say, oh, this chocolate ice cream actually tastes better than what they were eating, or this Kit Kat alternative is better than what they're eating, and so then the kids when they're they just naturally want that, right?
And I pretty much have that for everything you can possibly imagine. I know what the safe substitute is, which has been really fun. And so we can still be the foodies that we used to be because we have everything that we need. And for us, it's the gluten and the dairy. So we still have the pea-based milk instead of the cow milk. And we still have, the great cheese that's not dairy. It's dairy free.
I love it.
No,
I
you
think
know,
the nutritional value, the true amazing energy we're getting from the dupe is why we like it better. It's like why we become more, just we want that a little bit more because it's giving us what we really need in terms of nutrients and energy. And yeah, it's just better all around.
And if I can add really quick, sometimes it's hit or miss. But I figured out like what's worth spending your money on versus like what doesn't taste that good. So I just want to realize that yes, there are certain things that do not taste good that might be for your food sensitivity, but there are plenty of amazing options.
I've tasted that cheese, Amy. I don't like it. You're going to have to give me some good
We'll have to compare notes. Okay.
And honestly, people who have done this work and research and been in their kitchens and figured these resources out, you guys, that in itself is a reason to buy this amazing book, because they are doing some of this work for you so you don't have to do the experiment of it and keep failing, right? I love this so much. Okay, I've got this one big question for all of you as a last question today. I want to challenge you to give me what that thing is about it that is the most important thing you want people to know. Stephen, what do you want people to know about staying healthy for life?
Staying healthy for life, trust yourself that you know how your body and the rest of you feel, that if something is still elusive, that there's a world out there in which you can get an answer and you can be empowered to get to your next level and keep getting there. Once cross reactivity and molecular mimicry is kind of embraced in your world and in your caregiver's world, you can navigate it in a very, very simple, easy, healthy way. And a lot of the chronic illnesses and a lot of the effort you put in to manage the chronic illness. And I think that that's also something that it's like a whole podcast, how many people are doing 50 million things with low efficacy, but they're just trying to stay ahead, that they can feel better and stay better with a little bit of understanding and tracking it down. And it's doable. It's very doable.
I love it. It's powerful. Amy, what's the most important thing you want the listeners to know about staying healthy for life?
I want everyone to know that this is really generational, which is why one of the reasons why I love this book so much is if you're doing it for yourselves, you're doing it for your kids, you're teaching your kids, they're going to be empowered for the future. And then you can also weave the grandparents and teachers and nannies back in, because obviously it does take the whole team, but it can be very simple and effective. And you can love having a gluten-free lifestyle or whatever your food allergy, intolerance, sensitivity may be.
Thank you for that. Okay, Michael, you're going to close us out today. I know you have something special to share with us about becoming what we sing about. So go for it.
Yeah, a quote from Marianne Williamson is, with repetition, your words become your reality. Your voice is the brush painting the canvas of your life. And, this is going to be a little cocky, right? But, my chapter, you become what you sing about all day long, is chapter 15. In a perfect world, that would be chapter 1 or the introduction. You know why? Because when you are clear on who you are, what your purpose is, and what your North Star is, guess what? You start vibrating at a higher frequency and you automatically are attracted to healthier foods, a healthier lifestyle. You attract healthier friends into your life. It's the fundamental thing that we can do to harmonize ourselves. And then guess what? Life just starts to unfold in magical ways. You get the right answers. You understand the gluten, sensitivity. You understand the lactose. Like, the fundamental is getting your business plan in place with a simple mantra. So with that being said, soon you'll be able to take your mantra that you learn how to do and connect with through the Healthy for Life book, chapter 15, and you'll be able to come to iFit, and I'll show you what you'll be able to do with that. And I'll just take 60 seconds here. Okay. Whoops, wrong screen here. There we go. Okay. So this was a mantra that I put in, and I had Aya convert it into a full-fledged song. Resonance frequency music with high vibrational lyrics, and then we'll take you on out. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
Show up bright like the break of dawn. Set the stage, the play is on. Be bold, don't second guess. Speak out with a badge of stress. Voices telling you to stay in line. Brush them off, let your soul shine. Dance in the rhythm of your heart. This life's your own piece of art. Peel off the layers, let them see who you are when you're free.
There we go.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Beautiful, beautiful. You guys feeling the goosebumps?
Sure have.
Oh my goodness. All right. To all of you today, Amy, Stephen, Michael, thank you so much for what you do in the world. And thank you for being here today to share it with everyone. Thanks, guys.
No, thanks,
Thank
Laura.
you so
And
much.
thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
So for our listeners, this is way more than a book, you guys. This is a very generous expert community. So I want you to scroll on down to the show notes. Maybe something one of them said today is just giving you the goosebumps. You've got a question. Maybe you need some support in one of our topics. They are there for you to answer those questions. Reach out, go explore what they have going on. I've got all the website links down below. And we hope you hop over to Amazon today and grab your beautiful copy of Healthy for Life. It's an incredible book, and you may just learn something that changes everything. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.